Well, good afternoon and welcome to our webinar, Don't Be Fuelish, Transportation Alternatives that Reduce Greenhouse Gas and Your Waistline. Welcome to this opportunity to spend lunchtime with some speakers that are going to be sharing information that will be valuable related to local transportation options. Today with us, we have our speakers, Greg Beverlin, Gwen Buckley, and Allison Milch. We're going to go ahead and first of all start off with an introduction of Insoo Lim, and she's going to share an introduction to the Sustainability Academy with you.
Thanks, Judy. Hi, everyone. My name is Insoo Lim, and I'm a Sustainability Coordinator here at the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability. And I want to thank everyone for joining us during your lunchtime. We have some great information planned out to share with all of you today in the next hour. So the Sustainability Academy is part of the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability, OOS. So OOS is relatively a new office here in the county. It started with just 2 staff members when it was established back in July 2014. And today, after almost 3 years, it's grown to a solid group of about 40 staff members. And we do a lot of different things here in our office. And for instance, our office's overall objective is to promote sustainability in the county through the planning, development, and implementation of many different types of programs. And as you see on the slide, we provide our programs through our 4 work groups. First one being energy and environment, climate change, waste reduction, and livable communities. And the Sustainability Academy falls under the climate change work group in case for those who are interested. Next slide, please. And through the Academy, OOS, we offer no-cost sustainability educational opportunities to you, the members of the County of San Mateo. And the Academy's goal is to raise awareness around sustainability and empower our San Mateo County community members with the knowledge and the skills to promote resource conservation in your communities. Next slide, please. And each year, we provide many different educational offerings around sustainability that you can take advantage of. For instance, during the current 2017 program year, we had 2 8-week master courses. The participants participating in the master courses learn all different sustainability topics, including composting, energy, water, and etc. And in exchange, we do ask that the participants volunteer 40 hours back to their communities. And we also have a webinar series on many different topics that you see on the slide during the lunchtime, including today's webinar. And we also have about half-day workshops throughout the year, including a green homes workshop that's actually happening this Sunday. We have a green business workshop that's occurring in June, a solar PV installation in July, and we have a number of different home compost workshops that are coming up. Next slide. As for the Academy team here in OOS, we have Hillary Papendick, who provides high-level oversight and direction for the program. I manage the day-to-day operations of the Academy. Emi Hashizumi, she provides day-to-day support for the program. And we have Sally Prowett, our volunteer coordinator, who works closely with the Academy's volunteers to provide support regarding available volunteer opportunities, volunteer hour tracking, and other activities. And we're also working very closely with Cascadia Consulting Group and their team, including Judy, who is facilitating this webinar, to provide the Academy offerings to our community members. And our Academy team, we're working really hard to make sure that our community members have the opportunity to take full advantage of this great county program. Next slide. And back to you, Judy.
Great. Thanks, Insoo. All right. So today's webinar, we have some great speakers with us. And first, I'm just going to briefly go over what we'll cover today and remind everybody that if you have questions at any point, you don't have to wait to the end of the presentation. Go ahead and type those into the question box or raise your hand, and that way we can be prepared when we have question answering time already to have the speakers respond to those. So today we're going to cover an overview of transportation systems and programs that are operating in the San Mateo County. We're going to talk about how San Mateo County is reducing congestion and GHG emissions related to transportation. We're also going to give you tips on how you can actually participate in some of these programs and really make a difference in your community. And then we're going to go over the Check Your Number program. So our first speaker is Gwen Buckley. Gwen is the Sustainability Coordinator for the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability and works on the Active Transportation Program. Her responsibilities include organizing biking and walking events, supporting the County Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee, and implementing a Sustainable Transportation Encouragement Program in the North Fair Oaks. Gwen has a BS in Environmental Science from the University of Virginia and completed a graduate certificate program, Oregon Leadership in Sustainability at the University of Oregon. So welcome, Gwen.
Thank you. Okay, so today I'm going to talk about active transportation. I'm going to talk about how active transportation fits into the overall transportation trends that are going on in the county, what the benefits are of active transportation, and then some of the county initiatives and programs that we're working on in the Office of Sustainability. And then lastly, I'm going to conclude with what you can do and how you can convert some of your modes of transportation to a more active form and ways you can volunteer and get involved in the community. Next slide, please. So active transportation is any form of non-motorized travel. So this includes walking, biking, riding your skateboard, riding a scooter, wheelchair if it's non-motorized. Sometimes Safe Routes to School falls into the active transportation category. In the county, Safe Routes to School is run by the Office of Education. Also, sometimes public transit falls into active transportation, and that's because a lot of times when people are using the bus or the Caltrain or any form of public transportation, they walk or they bike to get to the stop. We focus mainly on biking and walking in that county's active transportation program, and we support policies and programs that reduce traffic congestion. What commute modes do you think is the least common in San Mateo County? So this is just what you would think. I'll give you a hint. The most common one is riding alone in your car. I don't know if that's a hint, but that just gives some context.
57% of the respondents said carpool, 29% said walk, and 14% said bike.
Okay. That's really interesting. So can we go to the next slide? I'll talk about it. Ooh, actually, biking is the least common mode, but I'll talk about that in this slide. So this slide shows the commute mode choice in San Mateo County for commuters. And so biking is actually the least common. It's at 1.3% of people ride their bike to work and to their home from work. About 2.5% of people walk. 7% take public transportation, and 10% carpool. So carpool is actually one of the largest commute mode choice in San Mateo County, as driving alone is by far the largest at 72% of commuters drive alone to work. So the active transportation program is trying to target some of the small numbers, especially the purple and the yellow slices of the pie, and get those be a little bit more bigger and try to get more people to convert to active modes of transportation. Next slide, please. So this slide, I don't know if you can see the numbers at the bottom, but what this is it shows the average trip length on US Highway 101. So on the x-axis, on the horizontal axis, that is the length of the trip. So it starts at 1 mile and goes all the way up to 30, and then the y-axis, the horizontal, or the vertical, is the percentage of all trips. So the first one is 1 mile, and about 5% of the trips on Highway 101 are 1 mile. About 14% of trips are 2 miles or less, and about a third are 4 miles or less. So that's a lot of people that are taking really short trips on the highway. And I usually think of people that get on the highway as going longer distances, but that's not always the case. Next slide, please. Okay, so how does driving affect the environment? What effect does it have on the environment? Well, this is the last graph. It shows the per capita greenhouse gas emissions from fuel sales by each county. So San Mateo County is third for the Bay Area. It has one of the highest greenhouse gas emissions per capita at 3.5% metric tons of CO2. That, to put some context into that, that's about equivalent to planting 90 trees and letting them grow for 10 years, and the amount of carbon that those trees sequester, the amount that they take in, is 3.5 metric tons of CO2. So it's kind of like saying that each person is cutting down 90 trees per year. That's pushing a little bit, but that kind of gives you some context to how many metric tons of CO2 people are emitting just from fuel sales. You can see in this graph that San Francisco County is is very below the average. It's at 1.5 metric tons of CO2, and that has to do with the fact that San Francisco County is unique in that it's a city and a county, and it's pretty dense and has a good public transportation system, a lot of bike lanes, and and a lot of pedestrian infrastructure. So more people are going to bike or walk to work. Next slide. Okay, so some of the benefits of active transportation is that it improves your health and well-being. Biking and walking is considered exercise. It's good for you. And I included well-being in there because it's social and it gets you connected to the environment. Like, you feel more intimate with the shops that you're riding by or walking by. You can stop and pet someone's dog or talk to people while you're riding your bike. You can also avoid traffic. For me, I much rather prefer to take a trip where I don't have to sit in traffic, even if it takes a little bit longer. So I will ride my bike even though driving is faster, just because sitting in traffic is kind of stressful and it takes that out of you. You can also save money on gas and vehicle maintenance. On average, it costs around $6,000 to $8,000 per year to own and operate a motor vehicle, but it's only around $150 for a bicycle. And walking is virtually cost-free. You don't have to spend money to maintain any equipment when you're walking, unless you count your sneakers, but I don't think that really counts. And then, as I mentioned in the last slide, you can also reduce your greenhouse gas emissions and the air pollution by not burning fossil fuels. Next slide, please. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about some of the work that Office of Sustainability is doing in the active transportation program. This slide shows some of the evaluation work that we're doing. It's a national bicycle and pedestrian count that we participate in. A lot of other cities and counties will participate in this as well. It occurs mid-September every year. It's a week-long period where we have volunteers go out to various intersections and count the number of bikes and pedestrians that are going through that intersection. So they stand there for 2 hours and just count and tally the direction that the bikes are going and the direction that the pedestrians are going. And this is really good data for us to have because we can measure the change over time. We do this every year. We try to do it at the same intersections, and we can see if there's more people biking or more pedestrians. And so every one of these circles is one of the locations where we went out and counted the number of bikes and pedestrians that went through the intersection. The size of the circle is relative to the total number of bikes and pedestrians, and the color reflects the percentage of pedestrians. The more blue it is, the more pedestrians there were, and then the more purple it is, the more bikes there were. And we can also make a case for funding with this data. So say that they are looking to install a bike lane on El Camino. We can show the number of bikes that are still biking on El Camino and say that this many people will use the bike lane if we install a bike lane. And then we can also, the next year, if it's installed, we can say, look how many more bikes we have. So it's a good way to just measure progress and see a change over time. Next slide, please. We're also doing some education work around biking and walking. So we just hired someone to do a bike map. And in this bike map, we want to include a lot of educational components to it. That's the image that you see on the right. That shows the hand signals that you use when you ride your bike. We're also going to include some tips about how to lock up your bike, how to properly wear your helmet, and things like that. Because we understand that people don't really use paper maps that often. The bike map will include all the bike lanes and bike routes, but most people will turn to Google Maps, so we want to provide them with more information about best practices for when you're riding your bike and general tips. We're also starting a safety campaign. So this is in the very early stages, but the picture that you see on the bottom on the left is from Santa Ana. They did something that we kind of want to do something similar to it, where it's just educating people that use the road that they're sharing the road with. So bikes are aware of the vehicles, and the vehicles are aware of the bikes, pedestrians are aware of cars, etc. So just bringing general awareness to the fact that the road is shared with many types of people are traveling in different modes. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so we're also doing a lot of events. I really want to start organizing more community walks, and these usually have a theme. You can do like an art walk where you go see all the public art, or a historical walk where you see some of the historic buildings. In March, we did a bike fashion show, which is a lot of fun. That's the picture you see here. It was a bunch of women that got together and just showed off that you don't necessarily need really fancy clothes, and you don't need a bunch of gear to get out on your bike. You can wear a skirt, you can wear heels, and it's fun, and it's not just for really intense bikers. This one woman had a little coffee mug holder that she attached to her handlebars, and it was like the best. She said she uses it every day when she bikes to work, like puts her coffee mug in there. This is Bike Month, so we have a few events this month. There's Bike to Work Day, which is May 11th. I hope people get out on the road, and even if you don't bike on a regular basis, just trying it out, it's a good day to do it. Bike to Shop Day is May 27th, and this is where a bunch of businesses participate, and they offer some kind of discount to people that bike to the shop and purchase something there. So usually it's around like a 20% discount, or if you buy a coffee, you get a free donut, things like that. All right, next slide. And then we also focus on equity. So equity is about providing resources to people that in communities that need those resources. So it's a little different than equality, which is where you give everyone the same thing. We're really trying to focus on areas and communities that need the support. We received a grant from Caltrans from the state for a sustainable transportation encouragement program, and that involves a lot of walking and biking events and then programs in North Fair Oaks. One of them is an Earn a Bike program, which I'm really excited about. I'm starting to plan it now, and that involves women can sign up, and they have to take 8 hours of classes. It's over 2 weekends, so 4 hours each weekend, and the classes involve like bike maintenance, bike safety, getting out, taking some rides on the road, and then at the end of the program, they can take home a bicycle. So it's a great way to like familiarize these women that don't own bicycles with like how to use it, how to maintain it, and then they can take home a free bicycle and a free helmet at the end of the program. Okay, next slide. Okay, so what can you do? So I like to tell people to do the Change One Trip Challenge, where it's when you draw a half-mile radius around your work, your home, or your school, or any popular destinations that you have, and then see what is close within that circle and what you can walk to. And start off by just walking to that location, to that destination, and then you can expand your circle as you get more comfortable walking. For biking, I would recommend starting with like a mile, and then you can expand it from there. This is good because I did this with where I live, and I found that there's 7-Eleven that's kind of close that I had no idea is really easy to walk to, and so I just walked to it instead of driving to it to get my Slurpees. But it's good just because there's things that are closer than you think they are and easy to walk and bike to. Okay, next slide. You can also get involved in local organizations. Silicon Valley Bike Coalition is a great resource and a great organization. They're a nonprofit. They do work in San Mateo County and Santa Clara County. And they have a bunch of events and do a lot of bike advocacy work. California WASP is kind of similar. It's a statewide nonprofit, but they have an office in San Jose, an office in Oakland. They do events and work around pedestrian safety and walkable communities in San Mateo County as well. You can also participate in Bike to Work Day and Bike to Shop Day. Bike to Work Day is May 11th. Bike to Shop Day is May 27th. And these are good ways just to like test it out and get like the feel of how it is to like get on the road and use your bicycle. And we understand that like you might not continue to bike every day after Bike to Work Day or after you bike to shop, but it's a good way to kind of see how it is and know that it's not as hard as you might perceive it to be. Also, it's probably a good segue into the next presentation, but I encourage everyone to take advantage of their commuter benefits. Employers offer a lot of benefits to their employees, and it's a great, great resource. Commute.org is amazing. I applied for free transit passes through their website, and you can get, I got 3 free Caltrain passes, and that's like, I don't know, it's worth a lot of money. It's like $50 or something if you like through all the zones. So I would encourage you to go to commute.org and apply for free transit passes and just check out all the resources they have. And also, you can go to the Office of Sustainability website and look at the active transportation tab. And like, we have a bunch of information there. We also have more info on everything I just talked about. And that's all I have.
I want to say thank you. I mean, I've thought about biking often, and it's different than when you're a kid and you just get on a bike and bike. I think, you know, there's so much more congestion, and there's like sometimes a little bit of apprehension of doing that. So it's neat to see that there's so many programs available to kind of get people involved in that. All right, well, we're going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker. So our next speaker is Greg Beverlin. He is a resource conservation specialist for the County of San Mateo's Office of Sustainability. His current work focuses on implementing waste reduction programs and policies within the county, and also overseeing the operations of the county shuttle program for its employees. He has a bachelor's degree in environmental studies from the University of Kansas and a master's degree in urban and regional planning from San Jose State University. So with that, I'm going to introduce Greg. Hi, Greg.
Okay, and hello everyone. Today I'll be talking about our office's efforts to encourage alternative modes of transportation for the county employees. As many of you know too well, this is an image of what the daily commute is like, at least Monday through Friday for most people in the Bay Area. It's bumper to bumper, it's very stressful, and it's also damaging to the environment. For county employees, we actually have some employees who commute up to 180 miles per day, a round trip, which is a significant amount. And this is about roughly 3 hours per day for the employees that commute that far. And it can also be very costly for employees who drive alone. It can cost up to $200 a month for people who drive by themselves. And so we're trying to offer incentives to improve that. Please go to the next slide. So here is a map that we compiled, and this is just to give you an overview of where San Mateo County employees actually live, and the polygons that you see are zip codes. And so the concentrated colors are mostly in the San Francisco, San Mateo County, East Bay area. But you can see that we have county employees commuting all the way down to Salinas, all the way up in Marin, Napa County, and then all the way over as far east as Modesto. So we have people commuting very, very long distances. Please go to the next slide. So we offer a variety of programs to our staff through the Commute Alternatives program. One of the opportunities that we offer is we give a $75 a month subsidy for people who either use a van pool or people who use public transit. And a van pool is typically a van that has at least 7 people taking it. And then for public transit, you can take any of the usual suspects such as Caltrain, BART, AC Transit, so on and so forth. It's very easy to sign up for this on our Commute Alternatives website. And then we also offer a subsidy for people who bike to work, walk to work, or people who carpool to work. And this is a $20 a month subsidy. And the only contingent factor is that people have to do this at least 8 times per month. All right, next slide. And recently, well, not too recently, but last fall, we rolled out a shuttle program for our employees as well. And the shuttle program, we have 3 different options. We have a $50 a month pass. We have a 10-ride pass for $25. And then thirdly, we also offer a week-long trial pass for free, just for people who want to try it out. We have 3 primary routes. We have the North County route that picks up in Colma and drops off at the health center and also in Redwood City. We have an East Bay route that picks up in Oakland and San Mateo and drops off at the health center and Redwood City. And then we also have a South Bay route that goes through Milpitas and Fremont. And the numbers vary month to month, but we have between 125 and 150 consistent users, so it's been pretty successful. And we structured the schedule of the shuttle program so it could be flexible not only for people who work from 9 to 5, but also people who work 10-hour shifts per day. So the shuttle can arrive before 7 a.m. and also it can leave as late as 6:40 p.m. So it's pretty flexible for our users. Please go to the next slide. And so here's an image of some happy shuttle riders from the Colma route that we have. And I also included some testimonials. But the overall consensus is that people are feeling very positive about the shuttle program. They're feeling more energized, less stressed, more relaxed. And everyone has given us very positive feedback. In fact, we had one employee who told me that what she likes about the shuttle is that she's able to take naps on her way home so that when she arrives home she can play with her little girls. Before, she was always way too exhausted after working a long day. So we've seen nothing but really encouraging feedback from this. And go to the next slide. And that's really all I have. Those are the programs that we offer through the county. And as Gwen was talking about, we're trying to encourage people to use alternative transportation as much as possible. It can be more economical, it can be more efficient, and it also is the right thing for the environment. Thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, one question that actually came to mind on this program, the shuttle program that you were talking about, that it's utilized by employees, but do you have to be an employee to use that, or somebody that's working near the county offices that that could benefit from that as well? Are they able to access it, or is it only for county employees?
So currently it is only for county employees. This includes full-time and part-time and also interns. Okay.
Good information. It would be great to see programs like that, similar to that, available for people. I know working. Yeah, I wish I had an option like that locally. We don't have anything, so that's really neat that you guys are offering that. Great. We're going to go ahead and introduce our final speaker. So our final speaker is Allison Milch. She works as a pollution prevention specialist for San Mateo County's Environmental Health Services. She currently manages the used motor oil and filter recycling program, which is funded through a grant from CalRecycle. She also works on cigarette butt litter abatement and provides outreach on the Fish Smart in San Francisco Bay program, which focuses on educating those who eat fish caught from San Francisco Bay on what fish is safe and not safe to eat. Allison has a Bachelor's of Science from San Francisco State University in community-based health education. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you.
Hello.
All right, so if you're not quite ready to turn in your car keys, you can still help to reduce your environmental car print by checking your car's oil change number. Next slide, please. So first, I'd just like to start by asking you guys a question. How often do you change your motor oil? Is it every 3,000 miles, 5,000, 10,000? Do you check your dipstick? Wait for the light to come on?
All right, so if you guys could go ahead and just type in a response in the question box, and then we're going to share those with Allison. Let us know how often approximately that you change your oil. I know I change mine about every 5,000 miles, so How about anybody else in the audience? Do you guys want to share what you guys are doing with your cars? So we have someone who said that they change theirs every 6,000. We had another participant say once every 6 months.
Okay. All right, next slide, please. All right, well, I'm just here to tell you guys that you might not need to change your oil as often as you may think. Many newer cars can go 10,000 or even 15,000 miles between oil changes. The old standard was every 3,000 miles, but that's really not valid anymore with newer cars that are 2,000 or newer. Under normal driving conditions, by cutting back to your manufacturer's recommended oil change interval won't affect the car's engine, its performance, or your warranty. Next slide, please. So why should you change your oil less often? Well, changing your oil less often will save you time, it'll save you money, and it also helps the environment by conserving oil resources, and it also helps to prevent spills that can happen when you change and dispose of your used oil. Next slide, please. So I'd like to get somebody's car year, make, and model, and we can go ahead and visit this website and see what your oil change interval is.
Great. Yeah, so we're going to do an interactive activity here for people in the audience to participate. So we've got one person. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to so check your number website. So what you would do, in fact, I'll just demonstrate it. You'd go to www.checkyournumber.org, and when you get to that page, there's a link up here that says check your number that you're going to go ahead and click on. And then, so let's see. So Allison, we got somebody that has a 2007 Honda Civic. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. It's really easy. I tried doing it when you sent this, and it worked really easy. I'm going to assume it's a 4, we'll pick this one. I don't know if that's the right one. Not hybrid, so let's pick that one. They're responding to me as we're doing it. So here's what the website's showing, Allison.
All right, so yeah, this website's really easy to use. Just put your year, make, and model in there, and it'll give you your recommended oil change interval. And this is for normal driving conditions. But it's just a really easy way to find out how far you can go.
Does anybody else in the audience want to try? Do you mind if we try mine, Allison?
Yeah, let's try it.
I said I'm changing mine about every 5,000, so I wonder how close I am. Ooh, so I could postpone doing mine a little bit longer as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so I don't see anybody else that put in their information, so I'm going to go ahead and bring back up your presentation. All right, and you're back on.
Right. So if you change your own motor oil, I just wanted to let you guys know that it's very easy and free to recycle your used oil and filters. You have a couple options. There's over 60 drop-off locations throughout San Mateo County, and these include locations like Oil Changers, AutoZone, O'Reilly's, Jiffy Lube, and other smaller auto and gas station shops. And basically all you need to do is bring your used oil and the filter in a closed container to a drop-off site, give it to an employee, and ask for your containers back so you can reuse them again next time. The second option that you have is you can also recycle your oil and filters curbside, except for Recology of San Bruno and Recology of the Coast. And different waste haulers have specific limitations and ways that you're supposed to prepare it. But generally, it just needs to be in a closed container, and then you set them out on your garbage pickup day. And by recycling your used oil and filters, it reduces greenhouse gases and heavy metal emissions compared to when used oil gets burned as fuel. Metal oil filters actually have about a pound of reusable steel in them, which is a valuable non-renewable resource. And the used oil filters also contain about 10 ounces of used oil in them that can be drained and re-refined again. So when you're ready to recycle your used motor oil, don't forget your oil filter, and you can visit the smchealth.org link /used oil to find a list of all the locations and find one near you. Next slide, please. So the only place in San Mateo County where you can dispose of contaminated motor oil, which is oil that's mixed with water, antifreeze, or any other product, is the Household Hazardous Waste Facility. And this facility is located in San Mateo. To go there, you just need to call the phone number on the screen or make an appointment at smchealth.org /HHW. And on this link, you can also find some more information about, what other household hazardous waste items are accepted, and a link to ways that you can reduce your household hazardous waste, like, we have some safer cleaning recipes on there and things like that. And the Household Hazardous Waste Facility also has some satellite events where you can actually dispose of your HHW at several cities within the county too. So if you visit the link or call the number, they'll be able to give you some more information on that too. And that's free for all San Mateo County residents. Oh, and so I just wanted to let you know you don't have to drive to your appointment to the Household Hazardous Waste Facility. Here's an example of somebody who decided to ride their bike. And I just encourage you all to go on checkyournumber.org to find out your recommended oil change interval and visit our HHW facility after you do some spring cleaning and get rid of that household hazardous waste. Thank you.
Thanks, Allison. All right, so this is a great opportunity for anybody to ask questions that they have for the speakers. We have one speaker that came through that said, typically the new cars show indicators as to when to change oil. How does this checkyournumber.org recommendations differ from the indicator on our car, or how is it beneficial?
So the indicator,
Yep, you're on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So the indicator is actually a great way to know when to change your oil, and I would recommend that you do follow what your car recommends you do. So it is nice that the newer cars give you that oil life monitor that alerts you when you're ready to change your oil.
Okay, great. All right, so I want to say thank you to all of our speakers that were here with us today. Really good information. And there's additional resources as far as websites. So a lot of the websites that they shared with you are available right here on the screen, and you can jot those down if you're interested. Thank you for your attendance today. We hope that you got some good information during your lunch that you can take back. And if you have any additional questions, you can obviously contact Insoo Lim regarding the Sustainability Academy or any of our speakers regarding the programs that they shared with you. All right, I don't see any more questions, so we're going to go ahead and sign off and say enjoy the rest of your lunch, and thanks for joining us today. Bye, everybody.